Hey, Becca Fox again, reading you another excerpt, this time from my science fiction fantasy novel. It's titled The Andromeda's Ghost, and it was published by BHC Press. Here we go. Chapter 1. Against Guards and Arranged Marriages. Terran used his cane to part the curtain of leaves and vines hanging before him. A stranger would have thought him terribly out of place, sneaking around the jungle wearing a white tuxedo and dancing shoes. Fortunately, there were no intelligent life forms in the area. Narrowing his eyes against the glare of the setting sun, Terran gazed out at the landscape. An enormous cathedral sat on an elevated plateau. It had tall towers, archways, and the traditional stained-glass windows of a medieval cathedral from 19th century Earth. It was one of the few of its kind in the solar system. The architectural marvel was partially obscured by the multitudes of people standing around in their evening best, waiting for the princess to appear. Knowing the guards would be on the lookout for him, Terran wrapped a thin metallic choker around his neck. A virtual mask appeared like a clear dome around Terran's head once the clasp clicked into place. To anyone else, he would look like his dad, Colonel Horatio Platinum, who had received an invitation and had every right to be at the royal wedding. As he strode out of the jungle, Terran muttered to himself, practicing his imitation of his dad's voice. He walked through the lines of parked hover cars at the base of the plateau. Every time he leaned his weight against the cane, he squeezed the rounded handle. Tiny explosive darts were launched from a secret compartment located toward the bottom of the cane. They sped over the grass and attached themselves to the turbines of the hovers beside him. By the time he had approached the guards stationed at the foot of the incline, the cane's explosives reserve was empty. The line of guards snapped at attention and chorused, "Sir!" "At ease, gentlemen," Terran drawled. One of the younger men saluted him, staring at something just over Terran's shoulder. "Good evening, Colonel Platinum." "Simons," Terran said, coming to a stop in the grass. "May I see your invitation, sir?" the guard asked, unclipping a handheld scanner from his belt. Terran reached into the inner pocket of his jacket and glanced at the two guards standing on either side of Simons. "Jeffries, Kim Sung, aren't you supposed to check my person? See if I have any weapons on me?" The older of the two guards, Jeffries, shook his head. "We would never, sir." "You'd be wrong," Terran snapped. "Anyone could be a threat to the crown, gentlemen. Anyone." He handed the thick paper invitation to Simons and then held out his arms at his sides. Jeffries and Kim Sung stepped forward to wave their metal wands over him. When asked to remove his jacket and turn out his pockets, Terran produced a pair of sunglasses, a small tin of mints, the key card to a hover car, a leather wallet, and a pocket square. His items were returned to him after a quick inspection. "We're honored that you reconsidered and chose to attend the festivities tonight, sir," Kim Sung said, puffing out his chest. "Know that your son's actions haven't changed our opinions of you. Your impeccable reputation and selfless service to this planet will not be forgotten among our ranks." Just last week, Kim Sung had laughed at a stupid joke Terran had told about a Folinar, a juggler, and a priest walking into a bar. "I'll thank you not to speak of my son," Terran deadpanned. "He's dead to me." "Of course, sir," Jeffrey said. "My colleague meant no offense, sir." Terran leaned on his cane and stepped past them. "Good evening, gentlemen." "Sir," they all said as he walked away. Up the incline, Terran limped. He kept his head held high and maintained his dad's signature frown despite the mosquitoes buzzing around his head and the sweat trickling down his spine. His parents were currently dining at a Peruvian country club on the other side of the royal city. Terran knew this because it was meant to be his goodbye dinner. Should his dad ever be questioned concerning this evening's events, he would have more than 100 witnesses to corroborate his whereabouts. Still, Terran felt the pang of guilt. A holographic message left on an end table was not the goodbye his parents deserved, but it was the best he could do under the circumstances. At last he joined the crowds at the top of the plateau. Humans milled about in cliques, laughing, chatting, recording themselves with their electronic devices. The amicable Folinar made conversation with humans with the help of translators or chomped on appetizers being offered by android servers. And of course, there were mirelings standing closely together, sipping exotic drinks and ignoring everybody else. Unlike the Folinar, who resembled tall, tailless, flat-faced monkeys constructed of pink putty, the mirelings varied in height and appearance. Their planet of Palnak was said to be composed of 90% water, so every creature who came from there was amphibious. With a glance, Terran took in their scales, gills, fins, webbed hands, slimy skin, and bulbous eyes. Under the veil of excitement, there was a hint of tension. Up until a month ago, Jerthon 5 and Palnak had been enemies. The Marlings and the Folinar had been at war over vibromite, the only mineral in the galaxy strong enough to withstand the weathering of water and time. And that was the Andromeda's Ghost. Thanks for joining me.